some young broke dude.
Can't you just get the color out of your hair? Okay, so this happened today, like an hour or so ago. A bit of preamble. I'm a trans girl, just got to my family's house to visit for Easter. I rode my motorbike down, and have shortish, pretty deep purple hair. I pulled into a non-brand specific supermarket around the corner from my family's place to pick up an energy drink, and as I got off my bike and removed my helmet, I could see out of the corner of my eye this little girl by the trolley return, pointing at me and generally going nuts. I start to walk past to walk inside the store, and the little girl turns to her mother, sitting on a bench nearby with an old lady who must be her mother, both having a fag each. Cigarette for our international readers.
Mommy, can I have hair like her?
I rightly assumed this was about me.
No, little girl, and that's not a girl.
Old lady grunts in approval. I ignore and move in to grab my sweet taurine juice, and because it's Easter weekend, I'm in there for about 10 minutes or so, just in a crowd. As I walk back out, the family is still outside, with a lot more fag smoke.
But why can't I have pretty hair?
She sounds like she's been doing this non-stop.
Because I said so. Now shut up before I bloody clip you.
I start to walk past as the entitled parent waves to catch my attention.
Hey mate, why have you gotta have hair like that for?
Because I want it?
No, but why like that? No man I know has color like that. Can't you just take it out?
Well, I'm not a man, so there's that much, and not without constantly washing my hair for like a couple of days.
No, I mean like now. Can you get it out now?
I knew the education in my area was lacking, but damn.
Look, I just wanted to grab a drink and get going. Let's just leave it.
I turned to walk back to my bike and put my helmet back on.
Fine then, you little Go be a shit somewhere else.
The old lady grunts in a way that I guess must have been a laugh. The little girl was quiet through all this, just looking between the two of us as she cuddled into her mother. I just had enough, but I didn't want her to feel like she came out on top, so I turned around still a bit away from them and reach a hand into my jacket pocket.
Oh right, yeah, I'm sorry. Here, have this apology.
I pull out my hand and flip them both the bird, smiling and waving my other hand to present my apology. After a second of silence and slack-jawed looks from the pair, I turn and go back to my bike and start to make way off, as in the background I hear the entitled parent hurling abuse my way about different stuff. Not as fantastical or karma-filled as some other stories on this sub, but eh. Edit, thanks for the gold, kind anons. Didn't expect anything, let alone that quick. Double edit, oh damn, thank you for that, platinum kind. Triple edit, because of how many times people have asked, the bike I ride is a Keyway RKV. Entitled parent tries to buy my Switch for $20. I'm a massive Nintendo nerd. I got my Switch for Christmas and it's the best console ever. I have a few games, Smash and Mario being my favorites. Anyway, let's get to the entitled parent, which we shall call Hunter or H for all my Odd One Out fans. Cast, me, Nintendo nerd, H, Hunter, our entitled parent. And that's it, folks. So I'm in the store playing some Smash and Hunter comes up to me. Hi, my son wants a Switch and you have one. Can I buy yours off of you? Now, I would never sell my Switch, so I just said sorry, I just got it and it's not for sale. Come on, I'll give you 20 bucks. First of all, the Switch is $300 plus my digital game is probably worth $375 plus, and okay, what if I bought your Switch for $20 without any game cards? Wait, you wanted my game cards too, that would have been at least $450 plus my Switch's collector's edition, Smash Ultimate, so no. You're an adult. I'm not near an adult. What do you need a Nintendo for? Just accept my generous offer. Me, with wise ass mode engaged. Oh, you know what? GameStop is doing a promotion, their entire store for $50. Try that, idiot. After that, I just walked away briskly, hoping to avoid him trying to steal it. Edit 1. No big fight, scene, or cops or court. Nothing big happened. It's a miracle. A letter to the biggest entitled parent I know. Part 1. As I woke up, I was flooded with support and love. There will be a part 2. Please be patient. This was a lot to take in. Your support, your comments, I will read them all before I pen part 2. This was just the tip of the iceberg with her. If this was hard for you to read, I'm truly sorry, but there's so much more to talk about. This is a different story, but I need to get this off my chest. To my mother. As I sit here in my girlfriend's room watching over her sleep, all I can think about is how much of my life you tried to take from me. For over 21 years, you tore me down, from my confidence to my physical being. You continuously told me that I was stupid, you beat me, you yelled at me, you made me such a wreck that I can't even order food on my own because you told me that I was better seen, not heard. And then you had the audacity to turn to your peers, my friends, my father, and brag about how much of a great mother you were. You had the audacity to claim you were setting me up for adulthood when on the day I turned 18, you watched as I dragged every piece of furniture I owned out the front door to live in your garage because my stepfather, your husband, decided to just throw me into the cold because he decided I wasn't worth the time. I lived in that garage for 3 years, 3 harsh winters with no heat, 3 Texas summers with no air conditioning, and all the while you blamed it on me while you begged me to shell out my hard-earned money. You berated me for my taste in music simply because you found it disturbing, music that saved my life countless times. You told me, your own son, that my choice in clothing would lead to me ending up in hell. You told me that you deserved a meaningful tattoo on my body because, as your mother, I deserve as such, seeing as I've done so much for you. You will never get a tattoo in your honor in my skin. For the first year, I had no electricity because you demanded $1,000 to fix it. I showered, dressed, and cooked on the George Foreman grill, my only cooking appliance, by flashlight. My grandmother sent somebody to fix my electricity for free as you stood on the porch of your home and screamed at me that I was ungrateful while demanding that I hand over the money that you spent on fixing that hell. All the while, when I was trying and struggling to find a job, you gave me $25 a week to buy groceries to survive, all the while demanding even more money to pay for my new electricity. You did nothing, you deserved nothing, but I gave because I couldn't see you for what you were. I gave because I was so desperate to have a mother. The second year, I went through 4 jobs to save up $2,000 for a car. Unfortunately, I lost that $2,000 because you did buy a car, but not for me, for my stepfather. Because in your words, he needed it more than you, so figure it out. I walked to work just so I could sleep in, 8 miles along a highway, yet I endured. To defy you. To show you I would overcome every obstacle you would throw into my path, because I am not your cash cow. I am not your possession. I am my own man, and I will choose my own paths. The last year I planned, I decided I would leave, and I did. I left. I found an amazing woman who I hope you never have the privilege to meet, a family who took me in, a roof over my head that isn't infested with scorpions, mice, and snakes. I've eaten more home-cooked meals in the past week than I have in these past 3 years. You will no longer take my money, you will no longer define who I am. You, mother, are the most entitled, selfish, and dastardly woman I have ever met. I will never owe you a fucking thing. A story with no ending is better left untold. I will determine how my life will unfold. Enterprise Earth. Karen threatens to call the police on me if I don't give her my weed and gets royally served by karma. 420 special. Like 5 minutes away from my university I go to, there is a cookout restaurant that my friends and I always went to super late at night while intoxicated. One time we had ordered and were pulling jeeps in the parking lot. The windows were cracked, so I guess Karen smelled it and parked her giant black Yukon XL right next to us. It was dark, but I guess you could have faintly seen the smoke repeatedly billowing out of the windows. We were dumb. There's a knock on the window. It's a girl about our age, maybe younger. We are 18 to 19, and makes a window roll down hand motion. We attempt to put everything out of sight before I roll it down. This girl is just standing there waiting when Karen rolls down her own window. She suggests from inside her car that her daughter smokes with us. She also does not fail to point out how obvious we are being. I apologize and say we are just about to leave. Karen didn't like that.
Let my daughter get high with you guys or I'm calling the police.
I begin to roll up my window and tell my friend to get the fuck out of here before hell breaks loose. This would have worked if Karen didn't swing her door open at the same time. Her daughter was relenting, trying to say that it was fine and they should leave, but remember, Karen's ego could not be offended by rejection. She had her phone in hand with 911 typed in and once again threatened us, but this time she demands our weed. Since we were already high, this was far more stress-inducing than it should have been, but then again, we thought we were going to get caught, so I don't know. We gave her a pill bottle with about a half a gram in it. We had another one, but definitely weren't giving her 4 grams. She does the bitchy thanks while moving her shoulders like a condescending preschool teacher. She immediately pulls off and enters the drive-thru, but we stay in the spot frozen in shock. After venting and regrouping, we begin to leave when a cop pulls into the parking lot. We feel violated and decide revenge is the most fitting option in the situation. The cop pulls up right in front of the restaurant. Me and one of my friends, after putting in eye drops, gum, and using deodorant, of course, go and knock on the window of his cruiser. We tell him that we had seen and smelled weed smoke coming out of the black Suburban in the drive-thru. After telling him we were students nearby, showing ID, and being breathalyzed, not uncommon, he thanks us and we return to our car. We watch him block the exit of the drive-thru when Karen's FBI-looking ass pulls to the end. After talking at the window for a minute, she steps out of the car and the cop looks around with his flashlight. We see him pull out the pill bottle from the console. She looks like she's denying that it's hers. The last thing we see before we start the car and dip is her pointing at us drive off as the cop begins to write her a ticket. Not sure what else is supposed to happen, but I am assuming she was charged with possession. Most satisfying Karen revenge of my life. In case you were wondering, we finished smoking in a neighborhood across the street before heading back to our dorms. It was a good night. Moral of the story, the wild Karen's feeding spot at 2 a.m. is cookout and revenge is as sweet as perp. Please don't ride the bikes through the store. We're busy and you could hurt someone. This is harassment. Day before Easter at the toy store. Woman accused me of harassing her and not leaving her around because she kept telling her daughter to ride the display bikes so she would have a good idea of if it would be a good fit. Told her more than once that we're incredibly busy and it's dangerous to other shoppers, and she kept interrupting me, telling me the whole time I'm speaking, okay, yeah, okay, sure, can you just go away? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks, I'm fine, just go away. You're giving me attitude? I don't appreciate this. This is essentially harassment, what you're doing. What you're doing? Harassment. She started pointing at me with wide eyes and showing her teeth and smiling while angry to make me go away, but her daughter kept getting on the damn bike, so I had to keep coming back. Eventually, her daughter rode into a store display and I said, "Okay, it's time to get off the bikes." Mother came running over and I started to talk, but again, she talked over me the whole time. "Get away from my daughter, please. Thank you. Get away from her. Get away from her. Thank you. Get away. Get away from her." I told the managers and they said they would handle it, but honestly, I've gone to the bathroom and I'm just going to stay a while until she's gone. Woman barges into my apartment and calls me a liar. She had the wrong house. Boy, do I have a good one for you guys tonight. This just happened about an hour or two ago. Let's meet the cast. Me. You know who I am. REW, Rabid Erratic Wench / Rude Entitled Woman. QK, Quiet Kid. He didn't say anything, so he's not a part of the story, but he was there. So I was at home just doing laundry and washing some dishes when I hear the bell go off and I proceed to dry my hands to go down and answer the door. I live on the top floor and I actually have to walk down 2 sets of stairs, one in my place and one in the main lobby where there's another neighbor living right next door to me. Anyway, let's continue. As I'm drying my hands, the bell happens to go off 2 more times. I basically had to rush down while trying to put on some sweatpants. I have pajama shorts on, but I don't like answering the door in my shorts, so yeah. I finally get down to the door, and as I'm opening it, there's this woman with the most angry scowl on her face, and her son behind her looked about 15, and she pushes the door a little too hard, which then slams into my foot, and I let out a natural ouch. You know what? Here's how the conversation went. Right after the door slams into my foot, and I yell ouch.
Oh, stop being a child. I didn't even touch you.
But you pushed the door into my foot as I was still opening it. Have some patience. She sighs and scowls.
Anyway, where the fuck is Vanessa?
Vanessa? There's no Vanessa that lives here. She cuts me off.
Don't lie. I know Vanessa lives here. Now please go and get her for me.
Are you sure you have the right address? There's only me and my boyfriend in one flat and the neighbor, let's call her Maggie, in the next one. Try up the street a bit.
Look, I don't care who the fuck lives here, but just get Vanessa now or I'll have you thrown out of this building. I know the landlady.
She tries to push me out of the way and make her way inside of my building. Keep in mind that I am 5'2", so I am a very small woman and I have no upper body strength or overall strength. She was pretty strong, so it was a bit of a challenge to keep her from barging in. She then succeeds in getting inside while dragging her son behind her and walks upstairs and basically just barges into my apartment. My boyfriend saw the whole commotion and was confused, so I was explaining to him while this bitch was still looking around for the so-called Vanessa who supposedly lives here. And we finally managed to talk her down after we threatened to call the police. My boyfriend had the police on speed dial, ready to go. She suddenly had this look of fear on her face as soon as the police were mentioned. We asked her what address she was looking for and it didn't manage the address on my door, and we basically had to let her see one of our letters that had the address on it as she was demanding to see it or she said she wasn't going to leave. So I basically got annoyed at this point and I fetched a letter to show her. She sees me coming back with letter in hand and tried to grab it from me, but I pulled my hand back and said, "No, this is how it's gonna go. I'll show you the letter to prove that you have the wrong address and then you'll be on your fucking way, lady." She literally gives me this highly offended look as if I had just killed her freaking cat. But she had it coming. So anyway, I showed her and she went red in the face, started stuttering and trying to apologize, but I just didn't care at that point, so I told her to shove her apologies. I also told her that the numbers of the address were on the front door downstairs, which she must have missed. She just wanted to leave, so I let her, but I followed her downstairs to show her the numbers on the door. I said, "So you see, maybe you need to go back to school and learn how to read next time." Then I told her a few choice words which I'm going to keep discreet, and I told her that if she ever pulled a stunt like that again, I will notify the police. She then scattered off into the distance.